This video is brought to you by your support on Patreon. Visit patreon.com/grouchygus94 to help support the channel. Hello! How's it going today, Chase?
Hey, how's it going, Tyler? It's
Pretty.
going good today for me.
I wanted to sit down and talk to you about Ashes of Creation. So we both sat down and watched like two 30-minute videos. What do you
It seemed
think?
it seemed like an eternity. Those were the longest videos. Uh,
They were good
the
though.
first one, the first one was fantastic. I mean, the second one was good too, but the first one I was like enthralled the whole time. Like I'm like, man, this sounds like a fan. Like I'm so interested in this. I was pausing, rewinding a few times, and then I loaded the second video up, and I was like, how is this one also like 40 minutes? I
so
was like, what is going on?
So I don't know if you noticed, but they were both like 2 years apart. So
Yeah,
like
yeah,
one
yeah,
was what was it, 4 months ago, and the other one was 2 years ago. So
yeah. Yeah.
the second one was basically reiterating everything the first one said. But I've always been an MMO guy. You've kind of lightly been involved in MMOs. You played RuneScape a little bit.
Yeah,
Did you?
RuneScape very lightly. Like we would play back in our grandparents' hometown. We would
Hmm,
go to the library. That was my only experience with RuneScape. Is we would
really?
go for the days play. Yeah, did not play that much, but you guys loved it, so I would go hang out. I didn't really have a PC that I
Uh,
could grind it out on there back then. That I could consistently do it, but
So I was kind of curious just to see what you thought of this. I
yeah.
didn't. I mean, you're not. I know you're not the biggest MMO guy, but I thought, you know what? I'm curious to see what Chase would think because you do play a lot of new games and you go out and you try different
Mhm.
things. And right now you're big into Tarkov. That's your main game.
Yep.
Um,
Yep. Yeah. It consumes my life every 6 months. All the waking free time I have, every wife, I just have to play it, get up to level 42. But yeah, MMOs, I haven't played that much. I like, battle royales, FPSs, those are a lot, and RPGs, all different types of styles of games. MMOs, I played Warcraft with you, for I think it was like 2, 3 months.
yeah,
I really enjoyed it, but my problem was it took so much time playing one game and with work and different things, I can spend a
yeah.
week and play a lot of. I can spend a lot of time playing video games in a week, and the next week I can't play, or the next 2 weeks I can't play hardly at all. And so MMOs was just it was tough for me to be consistent in. It,
Yeah.
in my opinion, yeah,
And at the time, so I don't want to make this too much about WoW, but at the time that was
yeah,
like a really bad spot. And WoW's been in a kind of a touchy area like that for a while now.
yeah,
So
hmm
I totally get it. But
yeah. I enjoyed it.
Ashes,
I enjoyed it so much. I liked the story of it too. Like back then, I liked the story, but it just the
yeah,
time frame of it was just tough. Ashes though, like I hate to say it because I'm like I don't have time for an MMO. Like I think I've told you that before. Like I don't have time to play WoW. Like I just don't have the time. I don't think I have the time to play Ashes, but like it looks fantastic. I was like, man, the node system, like all the class lists. Like I was looking. I don't know if you looked at that. Like that is awesome. Like I was looking and going across. I'm like, oh, what can a tank be? And like what can like a rogue tank be? I love the all the different customizations and the nodes is honestly what I think is one of the most really interesting parts of Ashes of Creation. I spent a lot of time looking into information on that.
yeah, it was kind of funny because I've heard of Ashes of Creation. Like I was never
Mm-hmm.
totally ignorant of it, but I knew it was out there, kind of looming. I know like people were like kind of excited about it, but I've been through it so many times before because starting, I played RuneScape, I played WoW, I played Star Wars: The Old Republic, I played
Yep.
Rift, I've played so many different MMOs that were supposed to come
Yep.
out and be
Yep.
bangers. So I was just
Mm-hmm.
like, I'm almost like jaded where I just don't believe they could
Yep.
be good
Yeah.
unless they're
You
really
have an
good from the start.
yeah. It's like an abusive relationship with MMOs you have. It's like you've had one good
Right.
experience and you keep coming. I want to try something new and just get smacked by disappointment. It's like, oh, it stings. It stings. I mean, but yeah, it definitely looks good. And that's the thing is I've known that a lot of MMOs fall flat on their face. There's a reason why WoW was able to stay at the top for the longest time, and
Right.
it's still right up there, is because they made a good game and then just kept building on it. And the MMOs, like I think the average, a lot of MMOs take 5 to 7 years to create because of how massive they are.
Yeah.
And this seems one of the most it from an outsider's perspective, looking at what the other ones with all the node systems and how basically they're saying how no two servers can be the same because if you have the massive node of the biggest city in one area, it you can't have another massive city within like however many kilometers. So all those other possible nodes can't be there, and
Right.
it's each node is different, which I think is fascinating. And like I said, each node is different. The PVE, all that stuff comes different. So it's insanely ambitious. So this seems like again, it's been I think 5.5 years since like the very very start, and so like I don't even know if we get this in the next 2 years, or if it takes longer. But it looks awesome.
Yeah.
I'm honestly excited.
It's cool. I mean, so the idea of these nodes, like they were even saying you can specify like if more humans are there when the node was initially developed, it'll have
Mm-hmm.
more like human architecture, or if there's
Yep.
more dwarves, it'll be more
Yep.
dwarven.
I think not if there's more humans. It's the because the nodes they build from XP from the videos that I watched mainly those two, and then I was reading some articles on it. But it's XP. You need XP in a certain area. So if
Okay.
you have like if me and you hop on, with Alex, a couple other group of dudes, your guild from WoW bringing over, and we have like nice show of the
Well,
beer. Yeah, you gotta
I
represent.
I was looking at it. I'm like, wait a minute. It's because this is green. It's not blue, but it's my green
It's not
screen that.
Oh, here, let me just show off my. I had some like Chipotle, like fantastic.
Ooh.
Taylor texted me. He's like, "Ooh, can you hop on this video?" I was like, "We got to be quick. I'm about to go to bed from this burrito I just ate." But no, it's like if we get a group together of like we're orcs and we're like, "Hey, let's go to this area out in the mountains and we're gonna start farming XP. Mine, kill these monsters." And then a node starts to build because XP. So the village is at whatever the lowest one is,
Yeah.
and then if orcs are the one that contributed the majority of the XP, it's gonna have the orc look. If
Yeah.
dwarves did, so you could screw with people like you could be an orc or a dwarf going to the elven area, starting area, and go ship out a little bit into the wilderness and built a dwarven node in the elven starting area because they said that you don't need to stay in your starting area. Like you could choose one of 4 areas to spawn in, and so you could be a dwarf spawning in the elf
You
starting area and be
you
fine.
you
Yeah.
would think though that like if you're a dwarf going over there, you could, but you probably wouldn't overtake
Well,
the
not a
amount of
singular.
XP,
Yeah,
right?
but if we and there's also going to be multiple nodes in like the elving area though, if
Right.
you think about it. So we could get like again 20 of our great good friends and be like, "Hey, let's go just make an eyesore of these orc like just let's do a throwaway count and let's go make an eyesore village over here and just build this node." But yeah, I think this all kind of stems off why this is so awesome is the node system. You have like all the different PvP things that you can do. Um, I think sieges, like node sieges, where if it's a village, you only get a few days notice. If it's like a big metropolis, you get 5 days notice. Where it could take out that node. So if you're like, hey, we want to take out that node because the each node brings a different type of PVE dungeons and all that stuff too. And if you want to get to like the late level dungeons, you need to actually have a bigger node essentially in the area, from my knowledge.
Yeah, it I think it's going to be awesome. I The node thing really is different. That's the unique part, and they kept
Mm-hmm.
touching on that where it's like it's all unique to the nodes. Like yeah,
Yep.
they said that only one player, no, what is it? Like 10 players on a server out of like thousands will be able to fly, and it's tied to
Yep.
like being a
Yep.
mayor or different higher ranking things.
Yeah.
So you see somebody flying,
Yeah.
you're like, "Holy shit."
Yeah. Mounts look cool too, and also the you can like the as animal husbandry. One of the things that you can do is
Yeah.
crossbreed, so you could have like a griffin beaver, or something like that. Like you just crossbreed, which is really cool. But that's the thing is, I think in WoW, flying mounts is common, and that's how you
Right.
get around. And this map is going to be like the map is massive, just enormous. And so you think like, oh, flying, but I think part of the draw of having a massive map is like it does feel you feel small in it, which
Right.
I think is a benefit. There's not going to be much fast travel. I think the only fast travel is in scientific nodes, and then that you can fast travel to other areas inside like the center of influence into the smaller nodes. Yeah, it's really cool. I think the two ways you can get mounts is if you're a mare and or if you get an egg and then you have a temporary
Right.
flying mount. So you can get an egg and it'll hatch into and you can fly around. So it's like it's actually going to be really cool if you see a flying mount. You're like, wow, that
Right.
guy's important there, or
Yeah.
insanely lucky
And
because he got the job.
because like so each of these nodes, like if you develop it enough to like a city, you can actually be the mayor of
Yeah.
that city and set
Yep.
the tax rate and kind of like be the overlord of
Yep.
the city,
And
which
you can
is
be a
kind of
bad
cool.
mayor. Yeah, you can be a bad mayor, which is really awesome. I think like the economic or commerce nodes, it's like whoever's the mayor is whoever bids the most. So they buy it essentially.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, I have 10,000 gold or 10,000 doubloons, whatever the currency is, and then the next guy down was like 9,000. So he becomes the mayor, and
Right.
he's the mayor. So I don't know if he gets any of the taxes. I think that just goes to the city,
I
but
I
it's
could totally.
maybe some of it gets siphoned off to you. You know, like if you get like a 0.1% of the taxes coming in, so you're a really bad mayor, you're like, oh, 20% taxes. But yeah, it sounds awesome.
I
I think go ahead.
I can totally see people taking advantage of that. And it's almost like
Yeah,
once you're the mayor, I know they have systems in there to fight against that, but it's almost like,
every
yeah,
month
you could
it may
probably just
yeah,
keep on taking over different districts. And, they have a whole
yep,
siege mechanic where people could try to
yep.
attack your city if they wanted to. But,
Yeah, so if you're a bad mayor and they're like, we need to get this, this, or two, if you want to move on for your current like dungeons, because like it's not tied to expansions,
right,
like the dungeons are tied to the nodes. So if you're like, hey, we want this big node to come down, so this node 2 miles away or 2 kilometers away can grow, and then we get to see the different dungeons.
right.
Which is really cool. But I think the different like scientific nodes are democratic. You have to vote. It's popularity.
Yeah.
You just vote the mayor in. So that one's going to be easy. If you have a big guild, you can keep the same people in.
Right.
Which is cool. Militaristic, I think, is
Last man
uh,
standing kind of
last
PvP.
man standing, which sounds really
Yeah.
interesting too.
Bunch
It's
of
it's hard to
gladiators.
imagine what. Yeah, it's hard to imagine what kind of if it's better to be a tank or a DPS or what's going to be or a healer. Like who's going to win that fight? I
Right.
think it seems like it's chance. If it's a free for all, I
Yeah.
don't like it. It's really hard to imagine if everyone's just fighting on it. But yeah, it's cool. It is awesome. Even to these classes, have you looked at this like class list? I've got it
No.
pulled up right now.
So while we were talking, I was trying to figure out how to pull that up. I don't see it on the website. Where did you
Yeah,
find that?
so put Ashes of Creation like class list or something.
All right, let's see if I can pull it up here. Classes, Ashes of Creation Wiki. It's like a big black and red chart. Is that what you're looking at?
Yep, chart. Yep, I'm looking at the black and red chart. Yep.
That does not really. It's super low detail. Why is it like that?
If you go off the wiki and just search like Google it, like class chart Ashes of Creation, I think that's how I found it. Um,
Well, let's
yeah, this is
see.
really cool because it has your different base classes. You have primary and secondary as you're looking that up, but the primaries are fighters, tanks, rogues, rangers, mages, summoners, clerics, and bards. And the secondary classes are all those as well. You got it?
Yeah, yeah, I see. So you could be a double bard and then you're a minstrel.
Yep, yep. Or an arch wizard or assassin. Like you can be like, oh, I just want to go on fighter and I'll be a weapons master. Like that's really cool. But like, I don't know which classes you like are leaning towards and think are sound awesome. But like the summoner, I think if you're primary summoner, and I'm looking at brood warden, a
Yeah,
summoner tank. I
that's
don't
what I
know
was
what
just
that
looking
is,
at. Yeah,
but
that
that
sounds
sounds
badass.
fantastic. Or a beast master. A beast master sounds awesome. But
Yeah.
it's cool. Like if you're a ranger primary and a summoner secondary instead of a beastmaster, you're a falconer, which it's cool. Like there's all different things. Like you just switch over that. That's a primary and secondary, subset. It's like, oh, you're better at summoning, and you're a ranger second, so you're going to be a beastmaster. Which I think you're calling in like the bears. All these different things to come into the fight. Animals. And
Right.
I'm honestly, those were the two that kind of stuck out was Beastmaster and Broodwarden for me, or even two like a rogue, primary rogue, secondary ranger is a predator. That sounds fantastic.
God, I
Like
didn't.
just having that extra name.
You saying that, so I didn't really realize that. But yeah, you're right. It's like, so it's
Yeah,
different if you're a primary versus a secondary. Oh wow.
yeah. If you have your primary and secondary, if you're a primary mage, secondary tank, you're a spellstone. If you switch it, you're a primary tank, secondary mage. You're a spell shield.
Yeah.
So it
Interesting.
will really come down to it, and it's going to cause a lot of different. Again, going back to WoW, I think I was a tank when I played with you, and I enjoyed it, but I didn't really know what I was doing.
Yeah.
This I feel is going to be with PVE, and even PvP if you're getting your group together, like you're doing those castle sieges where you can fight like guild versus guild. Um, this is gonna really make fighting different because you're gonna have all different types. You have
Right.
64 different classes
That.
that you can fight against.
So I know they were saying that they were going to have a combination of. You could have some active and some. What was it? Shit. How did they describe the combat? It was like active abilities and then.
Yeah, it's like 75%, 25%.
Yeah.
So it's like you can do either or. So it's like kind of like I think where you use your mouse and keyboard and you're kind of like directing the sword,
Yeah.
that way. And then, but you also have a 1, 2, 3 button to like get some abilities coming through. Or you can main like WoW, where you're just mashing a bunch of buttons and you need to do 25% controlling where it goes. I
Yeah.
think at least that's what I took it as. Again, I'm not an MMO player by standard, so like I was like, oh, interesting, whole different language. I don't understand what you mean by that as much, but I'll figure it out when we get there and I'll be happy. So
Yeah, I'm looking here and it says 1v1 matchups will have a rock, paper, scissors dynamic where one class will be superior to another. That's kind of cool. That's kind of how RuneScape is set up.
no,
WoW to like
all
a
right,
lesser extent, because like in WoW, um, melee was good against range, mages were good against. No wait, yeah, mage was good against melee. Melee was good against range. Range was good against mage, and then they were weak in the opposite direction.
yep,
So I'm just curious
interesting.
how they're gonna do all that. That's so many classes. Oh my god.
Like I'm even looking. I saw a new one just now.
64 different
Oracle.
classes?
Yeah, there's 64. Like a primary clerk, secondary mage is an oracle. That sounds cool. Or an acolyte, a mage cleric. Like this, it's all. This is so cool. Like or a duelist. Like just looking like it looks fantastic. Or even a bard rogue is a trickster.
Yeah, wow.
Or
I didn't realize
or a
there was
bard
this.
can
Holy crap.
or a bard can be a siren. Like that's cool. Like it's the yeah the I think what's awesome about this and like you're talking about in a server that maybe 10 people are going to have flying mounts is there I think they're talking about out of 10,000 like it's
Yeah.
like massive like that so like and so there's you're gonna run into these but it's gonna be with 64 if you're doing like PvP and you're fighting and you're like oh that's a mage and you're like what kind of mage is that and it's going to probably take some time for you to figure out. So it's going to,
Right.
you know, knowing your homework, I feel is going to help a lot with PvP, and even PvE. You're like, okay, this is a battle mage. He's going to help us this way. I need to do this with my healing,
Right.
which I think it's cool. I think it all. I mean, it's definitely adds more information. It's way more in depth than so it's going to take a lot. It's going to probably make some people shy away from it, but I think it's awesome.
I think
I'm
that's,
excited.
in one hand, I think that's kind of cool because me,
Yeah.
going into a new game like this, I would think, okay, it's so overwhelming with the amount of options. I would probably just lean to what I wanted to do at first, which is
Yep.
probably what
Yep.
they're trying to do here. They want you to just pick something you think you would like, and I don't know how they would balance
Or
this.
just
Like,
sounds cool.
yeah, that like
Yeah.
me just looking at the list now, I would probably go tank primary, I guess, because I always tank, and then maybe go fighter secondary, so I'd be a knight. That would be
Yeah.
interesting. I'd like to try that.
Wow. Wow. Wow, Tyler. Way
Very,
to pick a
yeah,
PG.
yeah.
You could be a dreadnought. You could be a dreadnought on there, or a apostle, or a
But
shadow disciple, and you're gonna go. I'm gonna go knight. I'm gonna go demon
well,
souls. I'm gonna pick the knight guy. He's great. He's got the halberd. I love it. But it's great. It's great.
so I would say the dreadnought. That is a
Yeah.
primary fighter secondary tank.
Yeah.
So if I'm
Yeah.
reading that correctly, you would think they would fill the fighter role and maybe have defensives available from
Yeah.
the tank
Yeah.
at maybe. I don't know how this would
Yeah.
work,
And
but
a dreadnought sounds exponentially cooler than a knight. I mean,
yeah,
knights are
yeah.
cool. But if I'm looking at this list, I do love how, because I know when we played Demon Souls back in the day, all the way through Knight, you're like, yeah, I'm gonna pick the Knight class.
Yeah.
It's the best stats.
I
It's always a Knight. It's always a Knight
I
going through.
I just identify with the basic ass knight always.
Yeah,
In
yeah,
RuneScape, I was a melee guy, and then in WoW, I played a warrior,
yeah,
which is the closest
yeah.
thing to a knight you could have, and then I just
I was
always
expecting
do
you to
that.
honest. I was expecting you, if you didn't say Knight, I was looking at Paladin off like the top right. I was like, he's probably gonna say Paladin
Yeah,
right now.
I mained paladin in WoW, but my problem is
Yep,
I'm too much of an asshole to play paladin because I feel like paladins have to be
yep,
like nice, holy, like righteous
yep,
guys,
yep.
and I'm kind of can
Yeah,
be kind of a dick. So
too
like,
sarcastic.
it doesn't
Too
fit me
sarcastic.
well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So
Plus, too, the RPing in this looks crazy too. Like
yeah,
you can have people in a family, which will have benefits. I feel like you'll have, like, if you have your guild, your family, you can do some extra stuff, have some sharing here and there. You can marry same sex, or
yeah,
uh, you know, yeah, which is interesting. And again, it's just not even to be like, oh, like, you could do it just to be like, hey, me and you want to live in the same house so we can share resources because we can't play all the time, but we can build together. It'd be like, hey, yeah, let's make just for
yeah.
tax reasons, let's
They
get married, and then and be like, yeah, we'll stay in the house together. Be like, hey, you stay out of my room, I stay out of yours, or you can actually role play and do dive into it that way, especially with the mayor systems. Like, it sounds awesome.
I
Like,
I
it sounds fantastic.
I thought that was funny when they said that because immediately
Oh,
I went to like, who would who would want to get married in a video game? But then like,
yeah,
I've actually ran across a lot of husband and wife couples that have
yeah,
played WoW
fair.
together,
Yeah,
and it's like, I
yeah,
guess that would be for them, or like you were
yeah,
saying, people that just want to share resources and live under the
yeah.
same roof.
That's
Like
what I was
that's
thinking
fine,
about it.
yeah,
Is like, if me and you are like, hey, Tyler, every time I want to play, I just want to play with you. Can we get married? Like, yeah, yeah. Will you marry me, Tyler? And kind of type stuff. But that was I was thinking it's cool because even you have marriage quests if you want to get married. Apparently,
yeah,
there's quests on all different things. You have class quests, race quests, marriage quests. You have like guild, or towns. Node quests. It's extensive. Like,
yeah.
everything that they're putting out is
Josh
extensive.
Josh was telling me about this, and I was like,
Yeah.
I was interested, and then now after looking into it more, I think I'm like definitely gonna at least try this when it comes out. I don't know,
Mhm.
because like my heart is already taken. I'm a World of Warcraft guy,
Yeah. Yeah.
totally invested. I have my whole guild over there. I'm used to it. It's the beast I know. So I'll probably try this. I don't think I'll stay with it just for the same reason I don't play RuneScape. I love RuneScape, but I just don't
Yeah.
have the time for two MMOs. Like, that's complete. Like, at this
Yeah.
stage of my life, I have to just cross it off. Maybe when I retire one day, I can do two MMOs again.
Well,
But
well, Tyler, who says you need to do two? Maybe Ashes just takes WoW's position. The grass may be greener on the other side, my friend.
maybe,
Who
maybe,
knows?
maybe.
Maybe. Like, let's not say you're gonna play it for a little bit. let's check it out, let's enjoy it,
Yeah.
and let's see. It might
I
be, it
I'm
might
gonna
be,
try it.
it might be the yeah.
I'll try it. Like I tried Final Fantasy 14. A lot of people are saying that's like really good too, but I just couldn't.
Mhm.
I couldn't get into it. It was just like almost too anime for me, which I like anime, but I just couldn't stick to it. I'm like,
You
whatever.
also you also like you also like WoW. This to me seems like WoW though. A
Yeah.
lot of WoW aspect. At least the graphics of it. I think even to the damage, um, the damage counters or kind of type stuff looks like classic WoW when I was playing that a little bit with you. Like it seems it's got that WoW feel. It
Yeah.
feels like that's the only MMO that I really know, and so like that's what I'm comparing it to. But from outside looking in, it seems like it's kind of like WoW, but way more stuff.
Yeah.
Plus, you could be a knight or a predator if you
Yeah.
want for a
Yeah.
class.
Yeah.
But yep,
So I'm
cool.
gonna have to look at
And
this a little bit more because there are those class combinations really are cool. It's very interesting.
yeah,
So,
yeah, Tyler identifies as a knight. I identify as an oracle or a scryer. It's great. There's,
okay. All right.
yep.
Well, do you have anything else you want to say about Ashes of Creation before we go?
Um, I think one thing we haven't touched on that'll be interesting is the basically the PvP.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
there's three different types of people. I think we should maybe just touch on this quick. You have like the green, which is non-combatant.
Hmm.
So they don't attack anyone else. You have the combatant, which attacks either other combatants or I think cursed or something along those lines. And then you have the red, which is like not good, and they kill other, like, basically you get that way if you kill a non-combatant, and like if you get to a point you keep getting more and more cursed, and
Hmm.
it's not good. Eventually, people could have bounty hunters on you. You when you die, you could lose your like other items that you normally wouldn't, because normally you just lose resources.
Yeah, that's what they were
Um,
saying. Yeah, just
yeah,
resources.
yeah. And I think in one of the videos we looked, if you're a non-combatant and you get killed in PvP, like you're just trying to run away, you actually lose twice as many resources if you're a combatant. So if you
Really?
actually like attack back, like defend yourself against the curse, you don't get you lose half as many resources, which is interesting.
Really?
It's kind of punishing you. It's like, oh, you just want to be on your own. We're gonna punish you a little bit.
Right.
But again, the PvP people aren't wanting to kill you, because then they can get really
Right.
um, bad negative effects, which I think is interesting.
And it's
To be
nice how
honest,
they're kind of baking it into the game too, where it's not like WoW, where it's like for a while they had 100% PvP servers, and then now it's like you
well,
have to opt into it. Now it's like there's reasons to PvP that fit in with the story,
yep,
like defending a
yep,
caravan. You know, if a player's shipping goods
yep,
across the world, you can defend it or attack it. Or if you don't like the
yep,
city, you can siege the city and try to break it down so you can destroy it and let somebody else rule. Or
yep.
just
And I
like
think
that too,
some of those
where
yeah, yep. I think some of those PvP stuff is going to be where even non-combatants can go play,
yeah,
and fight in those, like the guild wars or castle, sieges, maybe even the caravans. Those are also really cool. We didn't touch on that. We'll leave that for the next video. Um, but yeah, the only problem I have is, like, if I'm playing and I'm just enjoying it and I accidentally kill, like, I accidentally shot the guy that was just chopping at trees over there. Now I'm cursed. And I was like, is there any way I can get uncursed? Like, that's the only question I have, because like I hope that there's some quests that you can do, or maybe if
yeah.
you get killed by a combatant, then you go back down. Like, that's the only thing, because I'm like, dang, I've spent 100 hours on this character, and now everyone wants to kill me. I don't like this.
I'm sure you would not be forever cursed. There would have to it would either be time gated or something. Because yeah, there's no way your whole character just trashed. No,
Yeah,
they're
yeah, it's
definitely
gone.
not gonna.
Yeah, but every non-command you kill as like the big bad guys, the you get more and more of that, just bad situation, and so it's interesting. I think it's fantastic. I just hope, at least if I accidentally, pop a shot over, as a brood warden, and I just kill the guy just getting some more over there. that's enjoying his time playing PVE that I don't get screwed over the rest of the time.
I,
That's my only hope with that
yeah,
PvP.
yeah. We'll see how it
Yeah.
goes. It's because like a lot of
Mhm.
MMOs have scaling now, so we would have to wait and see how they did it. Because hopefully you wouldn't be just one hit killing a lower level.
Yep. Yep.
Like in WoW, there's scaling. So if you're fighting
Yep.
another player, it kind of scales you a little bit, and then you go from there.
I
But
think I did hear if you're a high level and you're griefing like low level non-combatants, it is way more brutal
yeah,
penalty to you. So it honestly, the game is also making it not worth it for
yeah,
you to just kill, like sit outside of nodes and be killing people because non-combatants will drop twice as many resources. So that might be if you see them collecting resources, you might be able to go do that. But it's gonna prevent people from just camping and just like I'm just gonna grief these new players coming in
right.
which I think is really good. Again, I'm worried as a guy that maybe gets to level 50, which I think that's the max at the start, and they say it'll take like if you're playing 4 to 6 hours a day, for like X amount of weeks, like 3 weeks or like 2 weeks or a month or something like that. If I get to level 50 and all of a sudden I kill level one, it'd be like, oh sweet, this is a fantastic game. Tyler's like,
Throw
I
them in the
can't believe
garbage.
yeah, Tyler's like, I'm sorry, I've got to divorce you. I can't marry you anymore. You've got to leave. Everyone keeps coming to our door and trying to burn it down in our townhome out here. But man, yeah, I'm excited for it. I don't
Yeah,
know about you, but I'm excited for this game, and it
I'm.
might take another 2 years for it to come out. But I'm
Yeah,
pumped.
that's the thing. I I hate looking at stuff like this because in theory it's all great. The people that have tested it said it's great, but it's still not going to be out for so long. So it's like you're going to kill yourself just
Cool.
with the anticipation, the sheer
Yep.
anticipation.
Yep.
So it's like I'll play it when it comes out. I'm probably not going to watch it too closely because I don't want to invest that much time into it until I know it's out and good. Um,
Oh yeah. 100%. That's I feel what you got to do with games. I mean, I'm always the standpoint. I would rather wait, it get delayed and it to be a fantastic game when it comes out. I don't
yeah,
want it to be a cyberpunk. One game that I am ecstatic for and can't wait is Hogwarts Legacy. That's
yeah,
coming out in like 2 months.
yep,
That's been delayed like two, 3 times. And I've been, okay, I'm bummed. It's being delayed. But man, I want it to be like Red Dead Redemption 2 again, where I can spend hundreds of hours just digging into it. And
which
so I'm excited to wait for it. I'm not going to think like you said. I'm not going to look at it too much or think about it too much. If I see something come up, I'm going to watch that video, but I'm not going to go searching info and be disappointed by the time left to play it. But
right. By the way, we are going to have to do a review of Hogwarts Legacy when it comes out. Because
okay,
I'm
are
definitely
you
playing that
getting
too.
it?
I'm definitely getting
You're
it.
definitely
Yeah.
playing too.
It definitely
Did
looks
you
great.
know that you could use the killing curse in that? I was
Really?
like, no way you couldn't. Yeah, 100%. I'm gonna play a good guy right away. I like playing the good guy, but if it's as good as it should be, and I pray that it's gonna be, I'm at least playing it twice and playing a bad guy after. I was like, I'm gonna see how many people I can kill. I was like, I no way, that's like the worst spell ever. I don't know how they're just gonna let you go through the school as a
Yeah.
teenager going to like in like ninth grade and just be like Avada Kedavra, just left, right, and center. It'll be interesting to see. Yeah, I can't wait for the applications that they're going to have in that game. It's again, I'm going to be so disappointed if it doesn't reach my expectations of being a Harry Potter fan. Like I might need to go see a therapist. It's gonna be it has to be great, or I'm going to be just devastated. But
Yep.
I'm pumped.
Yep. Definitely. Let
Well,
us know what you guys think about Ashes of Creation down in the comment section below. Let us know what you think about Hogwarts Legacy and
yep.
tell us what else you want to see us
Also,
review.
yeah. Also, comment what class you would be if you're going to be just a basic knight, or if you're going to go with trickster. Like, comment that as well. Let's see. Let's see what class you want to be down there.
All right. We'll see you later.
All right. Peace.